Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr.
Incidentally, this might not be a bad place to mention it. I may retire from show business and enter politics, as so many of my fellow actors have. Like George Murphy, who became senator, Ronald Reagan is willing to start as governor, so I may go further and run for president. So now,
tell you that for the first time in your life, you're wrong. Miss Truman,
there has to be a first time for everything, you know.
Miss Truman may know it some other times, but I don't.
Well, I appreciate that.
Mr. President, I want you to know that I'm never going to be too busy as long as I live and you live to pay my respects to one of the greatest Americans I've ever known. I'm aware that you get a little impatient with... I know you get a little impatient with these birthday celebrations every year.
Well, I appreciate it more than I can tell you, and I want to say to you that I feel the same way to you that you do to me, and I don't know how I can put it any stronger than that.
I've often thought that you'd rather have your friends cussing you than praising you. That may be why you became a Democrat. The trouble is, Mr. President, nobody has anything left to fight with you about.
Okay, sure, Humphrey. Bush,
Had a very pleasant visit, and I always come away from these.
Good view of it. You get a good view of it. Get closer now and you can't really present.
Well, bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Okay, kill it. Give me this, sir. Give it to me quick. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
They told me, President Truman, that if you wish to get the voluntary medical insurance, that you'll have to sign this application form. And they asked me to sign as your witness. So you're getting special treatment since cards won't go out to the other folks until the end of this month. But we wanted you to know, and we wanted the entire world to know, that we haven't forgotten who is the real daddy of Medicare.
Thank you. All right.
He's getting better, and he'll be able to take his walks real soon. Even the secretary said that before we went in. And thank God, with the help of God, he'll be all right. He's on the road to recovery.
Did you brief President Truman on world affairs while you were inside?
No, we didn't talk about that. We had a few laughs.
What did you laugh about, cutting up old touches?
Like I said about, we were entertaining at the photographer's ball there, the White House photographer's ball, and we dropped a cymbal in the back, and he was talking at the time, and he said, "There goes the Randy's teeth."
Jimmy, I didn't hear any piano music drifting out of the Truman house.
No, we played it over there. We played it at the library.
Meeting for council problem. One in, right? Okay, Paul, come here. How's that you do?
I didn't listen to that.
Lovely. Just wonderful. He really looks wonderful. Such a nice person.
How did he look to you?
Looks well.
Looking good.
He looks
Good
good now. I mean, what? After all, we're all getting older, you know.
Sir, how did Mr. Truman look this morning?
He looked pretty chipper. I thought
Good.
he was fine.
Did he talk? Did you talk with him?
Yeah, sure. I
Uh-huh.
talked to him, yeah. But he said, what the hell are you doing here? You're 88 years old. That's just like him.
Does he seem to have changed?
Oh, not in spirit, no.
Mr. Truman and ladies, you will be given permission to move inside for a presentation of the piano. A lot of broad grins here and happy.
Before Mr. President was to school children, I just finished a trip to Europe. I met with the leaders of the great nations of Europe, and all of us were talking about the 20th anniversary of Nato, which will be celebrated in April in Washington. We hope you can come with Mrs. Truman. But I want to say that looking back to that day when NATO came into being, when I was a freshman congressman and you were President of the United States, I am proud of the fact that, along with many other Republicans, I supported the Marshall Plan, the Free Turkish Aid Program, but particularly I think it is important to point out that without your leadership of the United States and the free world at that time, setting up this great alliance, we would not have had the strength which has avoided a world war since that time. I have a very special privilege and honor today, and that is to present to President Truman the piano that he used when he was in the White House during the years he was in Washington. To show you the special affection he had for this instrument, and I have checked its history, I find that it was one of the few pieces of furniture that he moved from the White House to Blair House and had it in Blair House while the White House was being renovated. And it seemed to me that since, in addition to many other great contributions to the nation President Truman has made, that he is certainly the most distinguished and accomplished pianist, that his piano from the White House ought to be in his library. And here it is, Mr. President.
Appreciate it very, very, very much.
Aren't you going to play something? Well, I'll play something, President. I play everything in the key of G, Mr. President, by ear.
Easy better. Okay.
Let me try it out.
General Bradley, you and your wife visited President and Mrs. Truman at their home in Independence today. How did you find your old commander-in-chief?
I thought he was in very good shape. It was very interesting to talk to him again. I enjoyed serving under him for several years when he was president and I was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I think he's one of the great men we've produced in the last 100 years, and I think he'll go down in history as one of our very great presidents. And it's grand to see him getting along so well. He's keen mentally, and I enjoyed talking to him very much.
People across the street ever drop over and borrow a cup of sugar or... I don't
The former president has just now come out of his front door and is coming down the steps. Looks like he's ready to come down the steps. Bess is not out here with him. He's expected to come on down the steps and come out to talk with some of these 300 young boys from the Pop Warner Football League. Former president with a cane in his left hand, a hat, looking around, looking extremely bright, cheerful, chatting now with the Secret Service agent at the base of the stairs. These boys are ages 9 to 13. 6 of the teams are from the Kansas City area, while 6 other teams are from the suburban Chicago areas. Chicago teams have come here to play the Kansas City teams in what has become almost a Little League World Series. It's a second annual event. Mr. Truman waving to the crowd. Where was Bess this morning?
Perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's the living proof of the greatness and good it stands for. Today, on the 190th anniversary, of the Declaration of Independence, I am proud to stand on the same platform with President Truman, who was President of the United States when I was released from a communist prison camp. And I feel that he had a great deal to do with our release. Thank you.
What's the matter? On your head. All right. Fellow Americans, on July the 4th, 1966 years ago, our forefathers set together the formality and determinedly announced to all the world that the United States of America was free. On that memorable occasion, the day those honored patriots ratified and singled out the document which principles guaranteed to all citizens of life, liberty, and the pursuit of freedom. They finally changed that, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. 1945, this next one is a statement by the President of the United States on the 4th of July. It was a statement. It says again, this year we celebrate July the 4th as the anniversary of the day 166 years ago that on which we declared our independence as a sovereign people. Now, you may wonder why that is 166 in one place and 163 in the other. One of them is 3 years afterwards. We have pride in the combined might of this action, which has contributed significantly to the defeat of the enemy in Europe. We have confidence that under the providence, we may someday crush the enemy in the Pacific, and have humility for the guidance of that which has given us of God in the service as well as in the leader of freedom for the world. This is 1948, on July the 4th, a recorded message to the people of the Philippine Islands upon the accession of their independence. I was lucky enough to be present when we freed the Philippines, and that's the reason I wanted to say a few words to them, too. To the people of the Philippines, I am happy to be able to join with you in the informal inauguration of the Republic of the Philippines. This is a proud day for our countries. For the Philippines, it marks the end of the century-old struggle for freedom. For the United States, it marks the end of a period of almost 50 years of cooperation with the Philippines looking toward their independence. The road to independence has not been an easy one, and the road of independence will not be an easy one. It'll have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The first requisite of peace among nations is common adherence to the principles that governments derive their powers from the consent of the governed. That's what makes this country great. We told them that we had no use for people who tried to make the government of their own, but they had to derive their powers. The first requisite of peace among nations is common adherence to the principle that governments derive their powers, just powers, from the consent of the government. The second requisite is peace among nations is common respect for the basis of human rights. The fourth requisite of peace is that the nations shall devise their economics and financial policies to support the world enemy rather than separate nations and enemies. Shortly after the two world wars, the nations should have learned the folly of nationalism in an extreme and to cooperate in economic planning among the nations of the peaceful world. Our goal must be set as peace, not as peace in our time, but as peace for all time. Got an interesting spectator here. While men led the movement for the liberation of half a continent, his memory is part of the spirits of freedom and independence in the North and South Americans alike. Through the United Nations, we are seeking a world order under which all the countries of the world will live together in the equality of friendship which prevails among the humanitarian nations now. If at times our progress seems slow, we must remain steadfast in the faith which sustained the great leaders of the past life, like Simon Bolivar, who fought for liberty and understanding among nations. I was graduated from high school not far from here, up here on the corner where the present high school building is, and it had a motto, "Youth, the hope of the world," which was in Latin. It said, "Youth, juventus spes mundi." And every time a member of those high school classes went into the library itself, or went into the hall where they had to go to learn to read the pieces, that thing was staring right at them, and they knew what it meant. You are still the hope of the world, and always will be, youth. For the revolutionary principles of human freedom and political equality, we are all in favor of. And they, the people of Annecy, have given this Liberty Bell to be the symbol of the great fellowship. The fellowship that freedom is growing. And it stands firm against the false prophets of communism, who represent not brotherhood, but dictatorship, not progress, but reaction. Would you like to know why that bell's cracked? All the samples, they sent one to every state, and some individuals, they sent one here and put it on that Longville Library. And it's got a crack in it because our forefathers were so well pleased with what they had done that they rang the old bell and said it cracked. It's the first casualty in the Republic. The fellowship of freedom will prevail against tyranny and bring peace and justice to the world, for freedom is the true destiny of man. In 1951, an address at the ceremonies commemorating the 175th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence at the Washington Monument in Washington. I do not wish to appear on the I do not wish to speculate on the outcome of the meeting with General Ridgway may have with his commanders or on the other side. I hope these meetings will be successful, and if they are, it will be the business of the communists, not the rally. The communists are the only ones that are opposing peace, and that's the reason we haven't got it. We must remember that Korea was only a minor of one of the worst attacks in the war on freedom. The attack on freedom is nationwide. We must ignore the danger of the military outbreaks in the other parts of the world. The greatest threat to world peace is the tremendous armed power of the Soviet Union, which still remains, and even when the Korean fighting stops, they pretended like they would go along with us and have peace and liberty for all concerned, but they didn't do it. To write them all off, we can't do that at home or abroad. To the end that men are everywhere may read them and take hope and encouraging for their vitality, we have available sets of it here for you here to get. In the conclusion, I'll lead you with these 3 words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold those truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that's words unalienable, not inalienable. It's in the Constitution that way, too. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And for the support of the Declaration, with a firm and realistic and firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge our lives and our sacred honor. We are just as interested now in the welfare of the people as I am, just as interested now in the welfare of the people as I was when I was President of the United States. And when I got out of the place, I didn't have any place to go or anything to do, so I told 2 or 3 of my good friends that I was wanted to stay right here in this part of the world, and that I was expecting to put a library here with all the information regarding all the presidents, so it would be available for people who wanted to find out what the facts were. Well, this building was the result. I raised the money for the building. The people of Independence gave me the site to put it on, and our attendance is something tremendous. I was told a day or two ago, that, well, I think it's Thursday of last week, that if the people kept coming, there'd be 1,000 people here to see it. And I think there'll be that many as we go along. I appreciate very much what you've done here. This is a wonderful turnout, and I'm highly complimented and very much pleased that you did it. And you will now hear some people that can make you a good speech.
And the town clock bell was always rung on that occasion. As Mr. Truman has said, this Liberty Bell that is here is one of the bells that were given to us by Oncé, France, the city, and there's one in each of the capitals of these various states of our Union, and one was given also to the District of Columbia, and one to Independence because it was a home of Mr. Truman. And the remarks he made a while ago was because of the fact that he was present when that was first dedicated here a good many years ago. Now,
tens of thousands of people, ordinary people whom President Truman loved so much, took time out to stand in long lines, file up these steps into the library, and past the casket as Mr. Truman lay in state for 19 hours of public viewing.